The Bolshevik Revolution, also known as the October Revolution, was an event that took place in Russia in 1917 and had a profound impact on world history. This revolution led to the fall of Tsarist Russia and the establishment of the Soviet Union. The main actors of the revolution were the Bolsheviks led by Lenin. The October Revolution came after the February Revolution of 1917. The February Revolution led to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II and the formation of a provisional government. However, the provisional government quickly became unpopular due to its decision to continue the war and its failure to respond to popular demands. The Bolsheviks, with the support of the working class and the military, overthrew the provisional government on October 25, 1917, according to the old Russian calendar. This revolution led to the establishment of a socialist government through Workers' Soviets councils. The Bolshevik Revolution, also known as the October Revolution, was an event that took place in Russia in 1917. This government, led by Lenin, immediately began peace negotiations and withdrew from World War I with the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. The Bolshevik Revolution inspired socialist movements not only in Russia but around the world. The revolution put socialism firmly on the stage as an alternative to the capitalist system and set the stage for the Cold War. That would last throughout the 20th century. The preparatory stages of the Bolshevik Revolution were shaped by years of social unrest, economic crises, and political tensions in Russia. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Russia struggled with great social inequalities under the autocratic Tsarist regime. Industrialization and the spread of capitalism forced the working class to work under harsh conditions, and peasants' demands for land reform went unmet. This led to growing social unrest. The 1905 revolution was the first major explosion of this unrest. While this revolution shook the Tsarist regime with workers' strikes, peasant revolts and military uprisings, it also gave impetus to the organization of revolutionary movements. However, although Tsar Nicholas II promised reforms, he did not fulfill these promises, which led to the radicalization of revolutionary movements. World War I left Russia in a difficult situation both economically and militarily. The devastation and heavy casualties of the war completely shook the people's confidence in the government. Defeats at the front and famine at home brought popular discontent to its peak. In February 1917, these discontents culminated in a revolution that began in Petrograd and spread rapidly throughout the country. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated and was replaced by a provisional government. The provisional government quickly lost popular support due to its decision to continue the war and its failure to carry out internal reforms. Meanwhile, Lenin and the Bolsheviks began to win support among the working class, peasants and soldiers with promises of peace, land and bread. With the April Theses, Lenin rejected the provisional government and advocated the transfer of all power to the Soviets' councils of workers and soldiers. The Bolsheviks organized the revolutionary movement through propaganda and workers' councils. Under Lenin's leadership, in October 1917, the Red Guards mobilized in Petrograd to overthrow the provisional government. During this period, Trotsky, as chairman of the Petrograd Soviet, organized the Bolshevik military strategy. These planned and disciplined preparations led to the Bolshevik success in the October Revolution. The Bolshevik Revolution was a critical revolution that took place in Russia in 1917 and brought an end to the Tsarist regime. This revolution took place in two phases: February Revolution and October Revolution. The October Revolution, called the Bolshevik Revolution, was the second phase of this process and resulted in the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, completely changing the political scene in Russia. The first revolution, in February 1917, led to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II, and a provisional government was formed. However, this government quickly lost support due to its decision to continue the war and its inability to solve domestic social and economic problems. In this environment, the Bolsheviks began to gain strength among workers, peasants, and soldiers. Lenin's slogan, "Peace, Bread and Land," helped the Bolsheviks gain popularity among the masses. The Bolsheviks made plans to overthrow the provisional government. On October 25, 1917, according to the old Russian calendar, Lenin gave the order to take action. The Winter Palace in Petrograd was surrounded by the Bolshevik-led Red Guards. This operation succeeded almost without resistance. With the capture of the Winter Palace, the provisional government was overthrown, and the Bolsheviks seized power. Lenin's strategic genius, Trotsky's military organizational skills and the Bolsheviks' policies that addressed the basic demands of the people played a major role in the success of the Bolshevik Revolution. Immediately after the revolution, Lenin took steps to meet the expectations of the people by issuing the peace decree and the land decree. With the peace decree, the decision was taken to withdraw from World War I, and this process was completed with the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. With the land decree, land reform was realized and lands were distributed to peasants. The Bolshevik Revolution had a great impact not only in Russia, but also worldwide. This revolution paved the way for the establishment of the Soviet Union and the emergence of socialism on the world stage. After the revolution, the Bolsheviks consolidated their power by winning the Civil War and laid the foundations of. Without the Bolshevik Revolution, the history of the 20th century would have taken a drastically different shape. In this alternative scenario, significant changes and different outcomes would have occurred both in Russia and around the world. Since the Bolshevik Revolution did not take place, the provisional government established in 1917 would probably have remained in power. This government had lost popular support due to its decision to continue World War I. However, with the end of the war, we might have seen the provisional government try to introduce internal reforms. Nevertheless, these reforms might have been insufficient, and Russia's social and economic problems might have persisted. The Bolshevik Revolution was an important inspiration for socialist movements around the world. Without this revolution, the rise of socialism might have been delayed or emerged in a different geography. For example, in Germany or Italy. Socialist ideologies might still have spread, but perhaps more slowly and less effectively without the influence of the Soviet Union. The creation of the Soviet Union was one of the key dynamics of the Cold War. Without the Bolshevik Revolution, the Soviet Union would not have been created, and therefore the Cold War. The ideological and military competition between the United States and the Soviet Union would probably not have happened. In this case, it would have been possible for the United States to remain the sole superpower in world politics, or for another power center to emerge. Without the Bolshevik Revolution, Russia could have evolved along an autocratic or democratic path. If the provisional government failed, perhaps a military dictatorship or even the restoration of a monarchy would have been possible. Alternatively, a transition to a Western-style democracy could have been attempted, but it was unclear how successful this would have been. Without the Bolshevik Revolution, the reshaping of post-World War II Europe would have been different. There would have been no effective sphere of influence established by the Soviet Union in Eastern Europe. This would have completely changed the political map of Eastern Europe. Countries like Germany, Poland, and Czechoslovakia would have had different political regimes, and perhaps the Iron Curtain would never have existed. The Bolshevik Revolution inspired revolutionary movements around the world. Without this revolution, socialist and communist movements in Asia, Africa, and Latin America would have been weaker. This could have affected anti-colonial struggles and revolutionary movements in these regions. The Soviet Union made great scientific and technological advances in competition with the United States, especially during the Cold War. Events such as the space race emerged as a result of the Bolshevik Revolution. Without the revolution, such developments would either have been slower or have been carried out by other countries. In short, without the Bolshevik Revolution, the world history of the 20th century would have taken a completely different trajectory. In the absence of the Soviet Union's socialist ideologies might have been less influential, the dynamics of the Cold War might have shaped differently, and Russia's political and economic structure might have been in a completely different place.